What's up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And in this video, we're going to pick up where we left off on the last video that was about whales stacking grails. There's a point that I left out, and I'm glad I left that out because it's certainly a topic for an entire video, so we're going to discuss that now. And that is the topic of whales sweeping the floor, okay? One thing that I've noticed, and this is in the last several months, we've noticed that there are the big bag holders who started, I think it was like last April or May, maybe it was May, where you started seeing this practice of sweeping the floor starting to hit the app. It became a really popular thing for the big money bag people who had the ability to come in and buy massive amounts of an item, to sweep the floor and remove all the lowest prices. And since then, I have not understood. It's just, I can't fathom why they're not considering how wasteful such an activity is. And I want to compare this whole sweeping the floor thing and what we've seen happening on the VeVe market since last May to whale activity in the crypto market. Well, anyway, the way it works is this. Let's say we had Joe Madureira, Batman, way back when the price was, I don't know, somewhere around 129 gems, something like that. And then all of a sudden we had some whales that came in and they did the sweep the floor thing, and they bought up everything between the price of 129 all the way up to, I think it was like 400 gems. I mean, in an instant. This happened within a few hours. Everybody goes bananas on Twitter. And then there was a lot of talk of, you're never going to see that low price again. That's just the end of it. Good luck trying to ever get one of these again because we have swept the floor. And then the whole idea was to give value to the undervalued items because it's disrespect that these things would be sitting on the market at such low prices. So they buy them all up. Well, the next thing you know, prices start to float down within several hours. And bit by bit, after a period of 2, 3, 4, 5 days, maybe it was a week, I can't remember, the price goes all the way back down to 129. And so then you've got these whales that purchased everything up to 400 gems, and then the price settles back down. You know, it's as if you can't go in reverse and have any more listings below 400 after the floor has been swept. Like they're gone forever, so the price can no longer drop below that point. Well, truth of the matter is, even though there are people who had no listings, you attract listings by sweeping the floor because then everyone thinks, oh man, here's my opportunity to sell and then turn around and buy back once prices settle down. I was one of those people. So I sold one at 400 and I had mentioned selling it, and a couple people kind of jumped my case on Twitter and said, why would you do that? That was dumb. You're going to regret doing that. And boy, you're never going to be able to get that thing back again. So then 5 days later, I bought it back at the same price that it was before and sat on that for quite some time until selling it later on down the road for like 800 or 900 gems for a drop. And it was a different reason for selling at that point. Well, I noticed this occurring time and time again where the sweep the floor comes in and happens all at an instant. And then, of course, price floats down over a period of time, and then they do it again and force the prices up. And then you see the people fighting on Twitter saying, well, this is market manipulation. It's not right. They're manipulating prices. Well, people are free to do what they want. If they want to sweep the floor en masse, they can do that. They have a right to do that. If it's for sale, then you can buy it in as many listings as there are. But the part that I don't get is the timing. Why do people sweep the floor and grab a couple hundred items off of the market, not considering that the people who have no listings are perfectly free to list and sell into that buying pressure? When you look at Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, here's what the whales do. They don't sweep the floor in an instant. What they do is quietly accumulate. In other words, when you are in accumulation phase where the prices are laying low on the ground and the price line is like a lazy dog laying on the ground, not kicking up a fuss and drawing any attention. What you have is these whales, institutions, exchanges, whoever it might be, and they'll nibble bits and bits and bits at a time, bits of Bitcoin, so as not to set off a frenzy of buying. They don't want everyone discovering what they are doing. So instead of buying a huge wheelbarrow load of Bitcoin at one instant, they'll accumulate small bits over a period of months or maybe even a year, as long as we are in that accumulation phase. They wait till distribution is done. When you whips all the way down, you find a true bottom. And then that's where the accumulation starts. So they do this quietly because they don't want to tip off the masses who will very easily be thrown into a buying frenzy because they want to jump on board and follow the whales, swim with the whales, and then get eaten by the sharks. And they want to get as much as they can before they move to the next step, which is consolidation, where they start buying in larger chunks and kicking up a few waves. And they do this so people can notice it. And then, of course, we have the final phase, which is markup. Well, actually, the final phase is distribution, where it starts to whipsaw and get kicked back down. So when it comes to sweeping the floor with VeVe items, okay, why not pick away and clean small parts of the floor at a time? So if you sweep the floor in an instant and buy 200 and watch those prices settle back down, what would be the effect if you bought one a day and just maybe not so much as alert everyone that the price is changing, but you just keep bottom feeding, just accumulating, slowly but surely accumulating. That's how I stack. I'm not a whale and I can't sweep floors. And someone asked me if I sweep the floor. I don't. I have a whisk broom, as a matter of fact. And so I have my little bitty whisk broom and a little dustpan, and I'll whisk and sweep one or two into my dustpan and throw that into my vault slowly. And then after we get into consolidation and then the markup phase, I can sell one or two here or there into that liquidity, into the buying pressure. But I just say all this to say that I guess unless you've got money to throw away and you don't mind it, and maybe you're just trying to make a statement in protest of the price is not being respected, why would you do that? Educate me. Why not, if you've got a few $1 million sitting around and you're wanting to leverage it, unless you're just trying to help everybody else and put some money in other people's pockets? I guess that's a nice thing. If you want to sweep the floor and get a couple hundred off of the bottom, knowing full well that the price is going to float back down, why would you do that? I mean, I'm certainly happy when things get swept up and it's items that I'm holding a stack of, because I'll sell into that buying pressure, a few. But if I were a multi-millionaire, and I'm not rich, I work hard for my money and I'm still paying the bills and getting out of debt, I'm not going to have a humanitarian effort and just dump tons of money in and give people top dollar sweeping the floor and forcing those prices up artificially. The supply and demand is a delicate thing. It's a balance, and you want to keep it in balance. So if we stack a bunch on one side or the other, it tips the scale. So if we go sweep the floor and we grab 200 items, it's going to tip over this way. And then you've ruined the liquidity, and there's not enough demand to buy up. Actually, the selling will outstrip that as the prices tend to go back to where it started, and then you have equilibrium. Same thing, if everybody sells at the same time, then you'll have an unequal balance instead of slow selling where the market is allowed to recover naturally. So the artificial demand and supply that happens in an instant throws the market off, but it's going to find its place back at that equilibrium point again. So that is the point I'd like to make with that. And if you know why people sweep the floor in that manner, where they grab everything, gobble it all up at once, explain it to me, because I really don't know. But it is an interesting phenomenon. And hopefully when I get rich here very soon, I'll be able to take my whisk broom and upgrade it for a larger broom, but I still will sweep very, very slowly and smartly so as not to throw off the market balance and destroy the prices and cause a big dip. Well, that's all I've got to say. Thought I'd just share that with you. Something to think about, food for thought. Like and subscribe if you have not already. And if you are viewing from a land far, far and away from the great state of Missouri, let me know. As a matter of fact, I would like to know what states in the United States are viewing. We have not had a roll call for around the United States, so post the state you are living in and let me know where you're viewing from. This is Carlton. That's all I got. We'll see you on the next one.